the reason why I put context behind it is because for me, Salah isn't the guy that has the same skill set as these others. He's not as aesthetically pleasing as the guys that I've mentioned. Not to say that he's not aesthetically pleasing at all, but the kind of
compared to the best players.
For me, the kind of player that I see Salah being is essentially striker Ronaldo at Real Madrid in the later years, in a sense where he doesn't really do much in terms of like the flashy stuff, but he gets goals. His output is crazy. The production's crazy. Hence why I say that he's one of the best performers. And
I don't think we're gonna see the Goliath we have at the back. The Goliath. 12 much
I'm a sergeant in my time like an Abri. Gatsby got me feeling great. I got a false 9 and an anchor. My wing is just there for the bait. Slick. I know Nasby or Sanya or Adebayo. If I score this goal in a glide, Oliver Twist, man, I want some more. I got 3 out of the top, that's full 3-3. My Spaniel boy racing clubs. When it comes to the new regime, if I shoot a shot like Haaland, I just want me a chocolate darling. Belgian thing I defend like Van Marlin. Aim high, just shoot for the target. Me done talking.
Yes, people, we're back. We're here, we're live and direct for another episode of Free Up Top. I'm with the key ingredient. I'm with the blood clot cannon. You already know what it is. It's Free Up Top. The guys, what are you man saying, man? How you doing?
It feels good to be back, man.
Yeah, man. International break. Off. Yeah, we had a week off. We had a break.
Glad to be back. Glad to be back with the man. Glad to be back. Congratulations on the...
You lot do yours, innit?
Glad to be back, bro.
Glad to be back.
Glad to be back, man.
You skin of your teeth, but congratulations on the 3 points. You
easy.
Yeah, listen, normal day at the office for you guys. Listen, I'm not a hater, innit? So I can give you.
This guy is so quick. He wants to try and get United out of the way quickly. That's not how it works. We're gonna give you time. You've got a segment, bro.
We're gonna season your one.
Hey, let me disclaimer. Darren always wants to talk about Man United, like any fan should want to talk about their club. This episode, I've given you a segment, bro. You can dissect. You can get everything off your chest. Obviously, we'll get into that. Obviously, today's episode is Xpensive Pain. So much things have happened this week.
You know about the double entendre, the triple entendre.
Yeah, I mean,
they are mad.
Think about that how you want to, man. There's a lot of things that are going on that I think relate to the term Xpensive Pain. But one thing definitely that I did want to touch upon, to just go straight into the football, because I'm itching to get into it because obviously been a week off and that. I'll come to you first. Is like African players in the league, man. I just think they've been so disrespected. 2 obviously come to mind straight away from the past weekend. Mohamed Salah, again scoring another worldie of a goal. I do think... what's it called? I do think Watford, I don't know what they were doing defensively, but hey, you can't take that away from him. And then obviously Edouard Mendy, man, with one of the like standout performances from a keeper that we've seen. I think a lot of the times when De Gea has these performances, you don't get wins. That's why, for example, you know when he had that game against Arsenal at the Emirates, that he won that game. Do you know what I mean? That's why that lives long in the memory, because
it came in a W.
Exactly.
And that's why I put so much. And what did I say to you? Literally at 60 minutes, I said, if you win this game, Edouard Mendy.
Us, Darren, I was saying, bro, there's no way.
Yeah, he said there's no
way we're not conceding. Bro, what we were witnessing wasn't normal. Did you know the chances they were having?
For half an hour.
Bro, like,
in your half.
So
we were watching the game together. That was
crazy. It's crazy still. But
to Mendy still.
Yeah, like, so in terms of Mendy, it's kind of like there's multiple questions. You can go at it how you want. Mendy, should he have been in the top 30? Like, because Donnarumma was included in it, but Mendy wasn't in it. And I think Mendy's arguably had a better year.
Emi Martinez was in there as well.
Yeah. Salah, obviously, is he now confirmed best player in the world? Like, is he just on a level where the Ronaldos and Messi actually have to concede that Salah's performing at a level that they have been so used to? Do you know what I'm saying? But then also history-wise, like, do you think Yaya Toure, Didier Drogba, Kolo Toure, do you think these guys get the respect that they deserve?
I don't think African players are disrespected, you know.
Interesting. Why?
Yeah, man. I think. Do you know what it is? Yeah. In as much as like we understand the institution, the structure of football as it pertains to, you know, race relations and stuff like that, I think that we have a community whereby the talent kind of speaks for itself in and amongst our community, innit? Do you get what I'm saying? And also on social media as well. Like now that it's become more of a bigger thing, these players do get their respect and you get their just dues, innit? Do you get what I'm saying? I think for me, the question is whether, or the flip side of it is whether English players get more recognition than they should, which I think everyone would agree that they do. But as a whole, I think that African players aren't necessarily disrespected. However, there is more. We need to give them more flowers, innit?
So then is disrespected the word, or do you change it?
That's what I was just about to do. That I wouldn't say they get disrespected on an individual basis, but I'd say when it comes to collectively understanding what African players have brought to the table throughout football, I don't think Africans get acknowledged the way they should. Do you know what I mean? Individuals might, but when you're talking about a collective, they don't get the flowers that they deserve. Do you get what I mean? Because when you put all the names that we mentioned, you put them in the same basket, oh my god, like the kind of impact, the caliber of players that we're talking about, that a light should be shined on that. The same way, obviously I don't want to take it on like a weird path, but the same way the NBA does. Do you know what I mean? When you see guys like Joel Embiid, Giannis, they'll relate it back to the fact that these guys came from Africa. Or maybe they might not have came from Africa, but they're from African heritage.
Yeah.
And they're doing really well in that respective sport.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? As you said, English players, they get a lot of love, and rightly so, however you want to see it. I think it's obviously that's the case because we see it that way because we watch English coverage. It's probably the same way in Spain, same way in Italy, all that type of stuff. But who's doing that for Africa?
Do you know what it is?
What I mean?
Where I stand though.
But then you could also say, do you need to group them together because no one does that for England, Scotland, Ireland? Do you know what I mean? So you can see it in different ways, innit?
No, I think they are disrespected, innit? I think I do stand by the word. And the reason why I say that is because I think that non-acknowledgement is a form of disrespect. I mean, you look at, for example, and this is away from football now, they were talking about Leonardo DiCaprio. How has this man has gone so long in his career without an Oscar, for example? I mean, we don't know the criteria to getting an Oscar, but we've seen the caliber of talent that has got one, and Leonardo DiCaprio has every single film under the sun. He's done every single role you can imagine. Do you know what I mean? And then bringing it back to football, you look at someone like Sadio Mane, for example. Since he's touched down in England, he's got double digit goals in the league every single year without fail. Bro, like, cool. In an age where production is everything, someone like Sadio Mane, I don't think will be remembered the way he should be. I think there'll be a lot of wingers that people could put ahead of them. And I think, look, I like the Sadio Mane debate. Like now, when you look at some of the best wingers we've seen in the league, is Sadio Mane? If you say Sadio Mane is better than Robert Pires, don't you think there'll be outrage? If you say Sadio Mane is better than David Beckham, don't you think there'll be outrage?
No, I've been saying that David Beckham's an overrated legend anyway.
We're not gonna go into that, innit? No, we're not gonna do that. We're not doing that.
Listen,
We're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do that.
Beckham, bro. Flick that guy.
No. We're not gonna do that.
Rockstar, bro.
Darren, we're not. I mean, Josh, we're not gonna do that. But like, there's gonna be some sort of outrage, and that's why I say it's disrespect, because it's like, why aren't these guys in the conversation? And obviously, if you want to make it a wider thing, look, you want to talk about black players having to do more to get recognition. I mean, I've been saying, and we've both been saying, Andy Cole is one of the greatest strikers we've ever seen in the Premier League, but he's never, ever in the conversation. I don't want to hear Ruud van Nistelrooy before I hear Andy Cole. I'm sorry. I know Ruud van Nistelrooy has one of the best goal-to-game ratios, but at the end of the day,
for 5 years, Andy Cole's
5 years and only one trophy. Bro,
exactly.
Andy Cole was contributing when you lot were in your pomp. He was your main guy.
And Andy Cole was the guy for about 3, 4, 5 teams in the Premier League.
So, like, you think about it like that, and I just think that if there isn't a general narrative pushing someone in a certain direction, so, for example, Thierry Henry, I think, gets his flowers because everyone loves Thierry Henry. I think Patrick Vieira, to an extent, gets his flowers because...
And it also... they're all French. Vieira, Pires, all
That's
of them.
what
You get put into the same...
And I think it also helps Vieira's case that he was involved in one of the biggest brawls, like one of the biggest battles. Like, it was him v Roy Keane. Yeah. That gives you publicity, like whether you like it or not. So a guy like Kante, I worry that he might just go under the radar. That, of course, when you bring his name up, it'll be like, yeah, Kante this, Kante that. But when it should roll off the tongue. Perfect example is, before I give it back to you, man, is, and this is what I was basically breaking down to you. Edouard Mendy doesn't get the credit and the tweets and all the hysteria he was getting yesterday if Chelsea weren't playing at 5:30. If Chelsea were playing in a 3:00 game, he doesn't get that same love. And that's 100%. Because when rival fans, beyond all the banter and everything, you can't watch every team every single minute of every single game.
If it ain't on TV, then it's not going to get the coverage.
Exactly. Only a handful of people actively go out to watch other teams and watch their games. And like, it had to take this level of performance for Mendy to be put in the conversation as a world-class keeper, as one of the best keepers in the world, as someone who got omitted from the Ballon d'Or list. Because I mentioned, when the Ballon d'Or list came out, I said, how is Mendy not there? And people were like, yeah, do you know what? That's a shout. But now, he's had a world-class performance. It's like, Mendy wasn't even included. Bro.
No, but I'm not in that mix.
You're not in that mix, but I would say that I'll pull you on the fact that when we had the argument about Mendy and Neuer, one of the things you mentioned is Mendy doesn't have a world-class game. And I disagreed with. I said you don't need to be saving 20 shots a game for people or them to realise that you're a steady keeper.
But that
or a world-class keeper.
It's harder to identify when you're not having these standard.
Okay, but you know what I mean by steady, world-class.
No, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying it's harder to give him that label when you're not seeing him clearly save his team.
But it doesn't have to be that clear when you've seen that he's a top quality keeper. He's made the one save that he needs to make in the game. I'm not saying it
has to be that clear, but I'm saying that's why you'd want it to be over a stretch of a longer time.
I think playing in goal is
it's harder, and
whereby it's based on catalogue, innit?
Exactly.
When we had that argument, I think
Mendy had catalogue.
I think we even had a separate argument in regards to top 5 keepers in the world or something. And I stood on the fact that I don't think Mendy's a top.
Yeah, you did.
Neither did I.
There's man that done the Roma that. Do you know what I mean? They're there, innit? Simply because we're not taking away Mendy's talent or ability or whatever. We all know that, bruv, like he's up there, innit? But when you're talking about the best of the best, there's a catalogue that, especially as a keeper, do you know what I mean? I feel like for strikers, you can have 1-2 good seasons and, do you know what I mean? You're near enough in the mix, bro. But whereas a keeper is like, yeah, you can pull off a good save in this game. Like, for example, Emi Martinez. We all saw the standout season he had last season, but longevity, innit? Do you get what I'm saying? And that's why the best keepers are the best keepers. The Van der Sars, the Petr Cechs. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? All them, man, they have a strong catalogue. So for Mendy, I think it's not a disrespect. Then the reason why I say it's not is because of the position that he plays in. I think that the same discrimination that he's getting now is the same discrimination that most keepers get.
No, but that's not true. Again, that is like.
Why is it not true?
I'm even sorry to say that you're wrong. I'm sorry to say you're wrong.
I think
because Mendy suffers from not being aesthetically pleasing as a keeper. He suffers from the fact that just because he doesn't look great on the ball, bro. How long have I been saying his distribution is underrated? His distribution is underrated, and people still don't want to hear me when I say his distribution is underrated. Just because he's not Edison. Like, literally, it's because of the standard. Just because he doesn't look like someone who can ping a 20-yard, 30-yard ball, 40-yard ball. Wait. Let me land. No, of course. But my point is...
But that's Edison's USP.
Exactly, and I'm saying Mendy suffers from the fact that he doesn't do anything outstanding in terms of his aesthetics as a keeper. So people judge him on that. It had to take a worldie of a performance that he had yesterday. And to be fair, Adam, you can agree, even against Aston Villa, when we went through that rough period, he saved us about 4 times in that game before we were able to see out the game 3-0. So, like, for me, I just think that you have to be very, very careful when you basically put someone down. Salah now, we can do the same thing with Salah. Everyone's scared to call him the best player in the world because he suffers from aesthetics. Like his main skill was the ball roll, and no one can stop it. Like, do you know what I mean? He's not the great. Like, he's not the. Like, you're not gonna go. No one's typing in Salah to watch his comps. Do you know what I mean? For sure. Like Ronaldinho and the Ronaldos. But bro, this guy is efficient, and he's the best player in the world right now.
I don't agree with that, but
yeah.
I don't think.
And say why.
Why I don't think.
No, carry on with what you're saying, and then say why, innit?
I even lost my point. I forgot the point I was gonna make. But just generally though, like,
why is Salah not the best then?
How do you break down what the best player in the world is?
That's my thing. My thing is, you guys know me. I'm about I don't do flash in the pan because I've seen that.
Flash in the pan.
I'm not calling Salah a flash in the pan. I'm saying you're calling him the best in the world based on what he's done to start this season.
No.
You're saying Salah was the best player in the world back in the last season.
No, but based off of the catalogue like you spoke about, bro, one of the biggest things about why he was disagreeing with me when I said Tuchel right now.
Best player in the world is a different conversation, by the way.
It's not. It's the conversation.
I've never had a conversation in my life about Salah being the best player in the world.
Salah's been one of the top 5 players in the world for the last 5 years.
I disagree with that.
What?
I don't even think I've seen Salah in anyone's top 5.
What? That's not true.
That's not Ronaldo, Messi, Neymar, Lewandowski.
Neymar hasn't had a better 5 years than Salah.
But no one was putting Salah above Neymar when we're talking rankings.
No, but when you're talking about him being the best in the world, it's not just based off of what he's doing now. It's also the catalogue. You're adding everything together.
No, I'm talking about the point that it's two separate points that we're making. Like, I can hear you on the catalogue aspect, and that's an argument why he's in one of the best in the world now. But I'm talking about like prior to this season, no one was having that conversation about Salah being the best player in the world.
The reason why no one was having that conversation is because last season, especially with what was going on with Liverpool, what was being ignored is Salah was the one keeping them afloat. And even though Alisson got them the goal, Salah is the reason why they got top 4 at the end of the day, because he was able to maintain the level of scoring and the level of output that he normally provides for that team.
I think it's more about the fact that the quality is not the same. Like, if we're being honest.
What do you mean by the quality?
Ronaldo and Messi are on the tail end of their careers. Do you know what I mean?
That's not Salah's fault.
I'm not like saying that's a negative towards Salah. I'm saying that's the reason why we're having this conversation right now. That Salah's one. You're calling him the best player in the world.
So who's the best player in the world then? Because that is a conversation, bro. There's gonna come a time where Ronaldo and Messi are not gonna be here, and there has to be a best player in the world.
That's the point I just made. They're not the same guys that they were prior. I'm saying that's the reason why you're saying Salah's the best player in the world.
No, but that contributes to the that contributes.
Yeah, no, I
to
understand
the
that, and I'm saying in terms of who my best player in the world is, I actually haven't thought about it, but Salah wouldn't be in my top 3. I wouldn't even put Salah above Ronaldo right now.
Salah's not above Ronaldo right now.
Not for me.
Salah's level of output has been better. Like, Salah's level of influence and what he's been... Bro, you can't just ignore Ronaldo's season at Juventus. Bro.
I'm not. That's why I have him above Salah.
Yeah, Ronaldo wasn't great. Obviously, he was able to score. He didn't win, though, with them.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, exactly. In his final season, which is
they
big.
were a mess last season.
Yeah, and they got knocked out. They got knocked out to Porto. But, bro, we're going to talk about United, but a lot of United fans are saying Ronaldo is one of the biggest reasons why your team's gone backwards.
And I think that's absolute bullshit.
Why?
How can you get such a great player, one of the greatest players in the history of the game, and that's the reason why... You know why I can understand the argument, but I disagree with the conclusion. If we're playing at our best under Oli, we're still not going to be a title-winning team. Do you know what I mean? Just because Ronaldo is not thriving in Oli's system, that doesn't mean you should blame that on Ronaldo. The truth is, it's on Oli. Do you know what I mean? Too many people are trying to say, Ronaldo doesn't fit Oli's system. Well, Oli's system's bullshit.
Yeah, but
so
Ronaldo also...
Why does that matter?
Ronaldo also, the same criticism you're hearing of... Bro, let's not move it... Like, I don't want to... Do you know what? Let's not go to the Ronaldo conversation now. We'll get to it later, but... Going back to the Salah conversation, because I do want to, I want to get your thoughts on it. Why do you also? I don't know. Do you agree that Salah's not even top? You said 3 or 5.
You said 5.
No. I said before. I said 5. Now I would put him in the top 5.
But he's not top 3.
No,
that's what you said. No. Yeah. Why is he not top 3? Or where do you have him? I don't even know.
I think Salah is one of the top 3 performers in world football over the past 5 years. For me personally.
Why the performance flex? Like, his best players is that.
Wait, this whole... Can I, like... When these all talking, I didn't say a word, you know?
Because I don't like the language, man.
I didn't say a word.
Cop out, man. Say it with chest.
But cool, innit? For me, the reason why I say performance and not the best is because I think that there is a lot that comes with being the best, yeah? Let's break down Messi, who a lot of people have claimed is the best footballer in the world. Let's break down Messi. Not only does Messi score at an exceptional rate, but he dictates the flow of the team. Quite often, a lot of the time, the best player in the world is someone that has influence, has influence beyond just the ability to score goals. But now that I think it's an exception because he's a demon, isn't it? Do you get what I'm saying? But when you break down a Lionel Messi, he doesn't need to score in a game to be effective. Do you get what I mean? Like, he dictates near enough everything, innit? Do you get what I mean? Another player now, Neymar, another reason why we've said that Neymar is after Messi and Ronaldo the best player in the world, because again Neymar is the skill set that he has. Yeah, he can score and he's proven to be a goal scorer, but with his ability he can dictate the flow of a game. You see what I'm saying? The reason why I put a caveat, or not necessarily a caveat, but the reason
context.
Yeah, the reason why I put context behind it is because for me, Salah isn't a guy that has the same skill set as these others. He's not as aesthetically pleasing as the guys that I mentioned. Not to say that he's not aesthetically pleasing at all, but the kind of
compared to the best players.
For me, the kind of player that I see Salah being is essentially striker Ronaldo at Real Madrid in the later years, in a sense where he doesn't really do much in terms of like the flashy stuff, but he gets goals. His output is crazy. The production is crazy. Hence why I say that he's one of the best performers. And as well as that, he's always available.
Exactly.
Do you get what I'm saying? Last year, Liverpool had a lot of injuries, but Salah was always available. So for me, performance-wise, I can't name you two other players in world football that have performed better than Salah over the past 4 or 5 years.
I think
in total, innit? But when we talk about the best player,
that's a different conversation.
It's a different conversation because of the skill set level. And yeah, man, I do believe that you can make a distinction between the top performers and the best players in the world. Do you know what I'm saying? Because I believe that if Neymar was to perform at his maximum ability, he's a better player than Salah. Sure. Salah is performing at his maximum ability, and he's currently, for me, better than Neymar. But when you're talking about the best, you have to look at the skill set. You have to look at what these guys bring to the game. And like I gave the example of Messi not having to score to influence the game. If Salah doesn't score at the rate that he's scoring at now, do we still look at Salah in the same light?
It's not true.
Probably not. Last season, now when Messi was at Barcelona and he wasn't scoring a lot of goals, but he was literally pulling Barcelona. Do you get what I mean?
Cool.
Like,
question: if Ronaldo stops scoring, what does he offer to a team?
That's fair enough.
That's why he can.
But why is Ronaldo? Why is Ronaldo? Because did you see the pass that Salah made to Mane? So let's not talk about Salah not being able. Let's not talk about Salah's skill set not being able. Because what I'm hearing right now with skill set and what literally was translating, and yes, you might disagree, but the reason why I'm saying that's what it is because that's what I'm hearing, is that skill set has a lot to do with a player's potential, what they may be able to do. And I think that's where players like Paul Pogba kind of fall short, because in the fact that they have and we spoke about it I think today, in fact, in the fact that they have like some of the best skill sets we've ever seen, like that transcends generations in terms of a footballer. Performance is everything, and maybe this is what you man's opinions are. For me, as a footballer, like, performance is everything. And whether you want to put production into it, whether you want to put aesthetics, whether you want to put impact, bro, performance is how you should be judged as a footballer, full stop. I'm not going to die on the hill of Kai Havertz scoring a Champions League goal and saying he has the potential to be one of the best players we've seen in the Premier League if he's not performing.
You do that with Cho?
What?
You down the hill Cho based on his...
No, but
potential.
You also need a fair chance to play. Like, Cho doesn't play.
Fair.
So, like, and he doesn't even get to play in his best position. So, I'm not... Bro, I have no hives. I don't stand anybody. I just want to see players that I believe have potential be given a chance and a fair chance to crack a thing. So, back to the Salah thing. Bro, I don't want it... I'm not even bashing Ronaldo, but I disagree because Salah does so much for that Liverpool team that you see. When people say, who do you not want to lose? Who do Liverpool not want to lose? Bro, I'm telling you right now, it's Mo Salah that they don't want to lose.
When we look at the Messi-Ronaldo argument, isn't a large... For the Messi stands, a large part of the reason as to why they believe that Messi is better is because if you take away Ronaldo's goal-scoring ability, then what do you have essentially?
Yeah, but if you take away Salah's goal-scoring ability, he still has so much to his game right now.
Yeah, and so does Ronaldo. That's my point, though.
What, though?
That even if you were to take away the goal-scoring...
What does Ronaldo do other than score?
What do you want to do other than score?
He's just an elite scorer. Bro, what does he do other than score? Tell me right now.
Ronaldo.
What does he do other than score?
Come on, Daniel.
Tell me.
You can't tell me that all Ronaldo is these days is a goal scorer, fam.
Don't say, come on, Daniel. Tell me what he does other than score.
The intelligence, bro.
To score.
No, not
it's
even...
all catered to him scoring.
Bro, it is not, fam. No, it is not.
What, his intelligence to do what, though?
Because when you're playing a game of football, it's more than just about what you can do for yourself, bro.
Everything Ronaldo does right now at this stage in his life, and he's the best in the world at doing it. That's what makes him. That's what puts him still in the conversation, year in, year out. His intelligence everything he does right now on the football pitch is engineered to score. Engineered
What's
to
wrong
score.
with that, by the way?
There's nothing wrong with that, but that's why I can say that if you take away Ronaldo's goal scoring, he doesn't offer much else to a team. If you take away Salah's goal scoring, you still have his pace. He can still stretch defenders. You still got his dribbling. You still got the fact that he's a very underrated passer. Those are four things now I've just mentioned that can still be so effectual to someone's
Ronaldo
team.
Can't stretch the defense.
Ronaldo doesn't. He doesn't stretch the defense. He doesn't. Bro, he has players in the... Bro, I watch United objectively, and this is my opinion. You're the United guy. You can tell me if I'm wrong, but Ronaldo's not in the team to stretch the defense.
No, he's not in the team to do that. But
And he doesn't.
He's saying he can't do that.
Of course.
And you know what?
Come on, man. Don't be obtuse.
No, but that's my point.
That's just
because
dense.
you're saying that if you
That's
take
dense.
Ronaldo's
Of
goal
course.
scoring ability, then like he has nothing left. But I'm saying,
Come on,
even
don't
if
be
he doesn't
dense.
score-
We're having a conversation, bro. Like, fam, of course Ronaldo can play football. He's playing at the top level. Like,
So then my point. So that's my
But you
point.
can say the same about Salah.
right
Then.
now-
That's why Salah gets underrated in the aspects that you're talking about, because everyone knows that he's elite because of the goals. Do you know what I mean? The goals is going to be... That's the bulk of his success. It's based on the fact that he's the greatest goal scoring winger.
but
in Premier League
that's
history.
where the disrespect point comes.
Yeah, but and you're doing the
because
same thing with Ronaldo, though.
I'm not disrespecting
You
Ronaldo
just
by
said,
saying
what
right
does
now
Ronaldo
that...
do apart from score goals?
Okay, Ronaldo right now only goal scores for a team. That's his biggest impact to a team.
But he's also a number 9. Salah's not a number 9. Do you get what I mean? Salah's got
Exactly.
more responsibility. Ronaldo's
No,
job
but
is to
because
score goals.
we look at Lewandowski and he does more than score goals in his team. He doesn't.
So
Say no.
I'm not saying that he doesn't. I'm saying that's not his responsibility. You think Lewandowski would be less of a player if he was putting up the same numbers, but weren't holding up the
No, but the point is, I'm saying that when we go back to your point about skill set, Ronaldo's skill set right now as a footballer is all engineered to him scoring as much goals as possible. And because he scores goals at such a impossible rate, like unbelievable rate, it keeps him as one of the best players in the world because he's been able
yeah,
to...
well, you're saying keeps as if he's like doesn't deserve to be in that conversation.
I'm not. No
I
one's saying that.
definitely hear your point in it, but for me, Salah is Liverpool's main striker. He's their main scoring outlet. The fact that he plays on the wing now allows him to do just more than just scoring in it. We saw the ball that he played. Two consecutive games he played crazy passes in for Mane and he scored in it. The position that he plays in now allows him to be more, I can score goals, but if I can play a pass in, I could do that as well. The position that Ronaldo, Lewandowski play in, if Lewandowski gets you 10 assists in the season, that's a bonus because he's not supposed to do that at all. But Salah, in the position that he plays in the same way that
So
we're having a conversation about Salah versus Hazard now, the reason why, even though we will conclude that Salah is the better Premier League player, but the reason why Hazard still has so much weight is because the scoring numbers aren't there, but in the position that he played in, he still had a lot of responsibility to create. Do you get what I mean? So your point for Salah versus Ronaldo, I think you can't. It's not so easy to make that point.
No. You put play. Look, this is where we'll end it, innit? And you can.
No, I want to make one last point as well.
Okay, make the point now, and then I'll just make the. So
I just wanted to say context because a guy I wanted to bring up is Kevin De Bruyne. That's why I like the differentiation you made about the best performer and the best player. I think for years a lot of people would argue, I think Salah's been a better performer than Kevin De Bruyne for a really long time.
Yeah, I agree.
But most people would say Kevin De Bruyne is the better player. Where do you stand on that?
That's not true.
So
though.
you think that Kevin De Bruyne has never been the best player in the league?
No, when did I say that?
Yeah, but Salah's been doing this for 5 years. When De Bruyne
I
has a
know.
chance to be the best player in the league?
When we're talking about level of performance, of course, there's been moments where it's been hard to differentiate between who the best player is, and then when you give someone the tip over the edge, it's maybe when their team wins a league title, because Liverpool and Man City were competing for a long time, so you give the edge to the person who's able to take their team over the edge. And De Bruyne, in seasons where he was able to put,
But that's-
you can't say
that's-
no,
that's-
bro.
wait,
Wait,
where's
your standing here?
one sec.
Where do you stand?
What, right now?
In terms of, so has Kevin De Bruyne ever been the best player in the Prem?
Yes, he has.
So now that you're saying that Salah's
saying
the best
he's
player
been
in the
going back
world,
and
when did
forth.
Salah become the best player in the world?
I don't know when he... Bro, listen to what I'm trying to say, innit? Kevin De Bruyne, of course, has been the best player in the world, but I'm saying when... Best player in the Prem, sorry. And when Kevin De Bruyne and Salah have been competing or vying for best player in the Prem, you tip it over the edge in certain factors. So, for example, what their team won that year, how dominant they were, da-di-da-di-da. It's just like, one sec, let me land. It's just like with... Because I felt you coming. It's just like when the Ballon d'Or... Ronaldo and Messi put up such absurd numbers, and the way to differentiate between Ronaldo and Messi for years gone by has been who has been the one to win the trophies, who's been the one, and that's why trophies aren't the sole thing, but when you're performing at such a level, they become a differentiator, and that's where I believe De Bruyne and Salah are performing in terms of their levels of performance. I think they're identical in terms of their level when they're playing at their peaks. And where I differentiate is who's doing more for their team to be successful. So, for example, last year, fair enough, Man City finished above Liverpool. However, I can give Salah or concede to Salah a bit of leeway because his team was so depleted and he was still the top performer. It's just that he can't defend for his team. Cool. With the final point that I was going back to, I just think it comes from a place where we disagree in terms of what a best player in the world is, because I personally think Salah's level of performance, because it's not just a 1 year thing, a 2 year thing. Bro, he's been doing this for 5 years and his team has been winning. Yes, we're yet to see what they win. This year, I do think Liverpool will.
Why is it an argument now, though?
And I think
I'm saying because of Catalogue. That's why it's an argument.
I think you're ignoring the context. Because you just said what Salah did last season was underrated because they finished fourth. But the reason why they finished fourth was Van Dijk was injured, Joe Gomez was injured, Matip was injured.
But yeah, he still maintained his level of performance.
Yeah, but that's why I'm saying that you're ignoring the context, because he was just as good as he's always been.
No, I'm not. He didn't get the credit. I'm not ignoring it, and that's why I'm giving him the credit now.
No,
but that's what I'm saying. We weren't doing that at the time.
But we can do it. No, we can do it. Of course, though. But that's why we have these discussions, because we can bring it up and it adds to his catalogue. It never takes away from when you continue to.
I'm not
because for how long has Ronaldo just been a goal scorer? Because when he was goal scoring for Real Madrid, he was doing much more than just goal scoring for that team. And when they were winning those champions, exactly. So we know he was more.
Let's also include the context of his.
There's nothing wrong with because there was a long time, bro. How many times has Firmino and Salah changed positions where Salah is the focal point? That happens a lot of times during the game.
I'm not talking about hold on. Of the game. I'm talking about the responsibility at the position.
Salah's responsibility in the Liverpool team is not to create, but he does do it.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that he plays out wide, so he's got more responsibility than a Ronaldo. Ronaldo's job is to score goals, and he does that at a high level.
Hold on. This is why I believe that the context is very important, because if Salah doesn't score that crazy goal he scored yesterday against Watford, and he doesn't score the crazy goal he scored against
That's not true.
Wait, and listen to what I'm saying.
That's not true.
If you don't score those 2 goals, yeah, are we having this discussion about him being the best player in the world?
Yes, no, we're not.
No, we're not. No, we're not.
Yes, we are.
No, we're not. Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. And this is the reason why I've said that, for me, he's one of the best performers in the world over the past 4 or 5 years, and because he's been doing this for the past 4 or 5 years, and not once have you had a conversation about Mohamed Salah.
And that's where my point literally comes in perfectly, bro. I'm saying,
come on it like as if you're like some revolutionary.
No one's saying bro. Relax, bro. What I'm saying is, fam, the reason why it now becomes a discussion, is because the whole segment is about disrespect. And where I've said, the first thing I mentioned in this segment was disrespect equals non-acknowledgement. And myself included, we failed to acknowledge how good this guy has been. Production aside, bro, he's been doing so much for his team, he's done so much for the league in terms of how good he's been able to perform in a league that's been tough to perform in. I'm not saying that I'm this guy who's been saying since day dot that Salah's been one of the best players in the world, but because of the catalogue that he has right now, I'm saying the discussion needs to be had. Bro, if Salah performs at the same level he is now for the next 2 years, are we still going to be saying Salah's one of the best performers in the world when he's been doing it for 7 years? This is now his 5th year. He's got 10 goals in 10 games, and we're still having a discussion and being nervous to say that Salah's performing at a level that rivals some of the best guys.
No one's nervous.
You are nervous. You don't have him in your top 3 and you're saying you're not nervous.
Why? Because I'm not
reactionary.
He just said
Man said it's not reactionary.
We wouldn't be having this conversation if he didn't score those 2 crazy goals.
But that's not true. That's not true.
That's again, it comes down to opinions.
Yeah.
I don't think it's nervous.
It's true. It is your opinion. Yeah. No, it's not about as me. I think you're thinking it's just coming from me when it is a lot of people saying it, innit?
Yeah, I'm not basing my opinion on what other people think.
I don't think you have to crown him as best player in the world, no, to give him his acknowledgement.
Exactly.
Bro,
that's why I'm content in saying that.
And that's why I like the differentiation you made about performer and who's the best player, because at the end of the day, what you said is right. 90% of what you should be, your reputation should be, is based on your performance. And Salah has been one of the best performers for a really, really, really long time. So that's why I agree with the overall point that we need to give this guy his flowers, because he is a special player. But that doesn't mean, we have to say, oh, he's the best player in the world. Like, let's not. You don't have to sensationalize
because
it.
even then, How many times we have the discussion about who the best player is in Prem? Since Hazard left, he's even said it. When Hazard left, Kevin De Bruyne became the best player in the Prem. Not once have I heard him say that Salah's been the best player in the Prem.
Stop making it about me. Stop making it about me.
Hold on. Wait.
What did I say just before? What did I say? Yeah. But it's not about the worldie of the goals, bro, because we literally had a discussion about Salah being one of the best players in the world like 3 weeks ago. So don't say it's about the worldie.
But we didn't have him top 5. I know we didn't have him top 5. I don't think
that's
any
not
of us had him
true.
top 5.
That's not true because I had him, bro. I had him top 5. So don't try that.
Hold on. So cool now. So if now we haven't even crowned the guy being the best player in the Prem, why have we now jumped in an attempt to give him his flowers to him being the best player in the world? He doesn't need to be the best player in the world, bro. For us to give him his flowers.
What it comes back to again, because there's no one performing at the level he is performing at currently, and then what is added to that is the catalogue that he has.
Keyword performing. That's why I said.
Cool. There's no difference between performance and best player. Cool.
Straight in.
Onto something fresh. We're sticking with the Premier League, obviously.
We have to come better. There's no difference between performer and best player, but that's like. Let's move on.
When you're doing it for a number of years, there's no difference. But cool. We'll keep it in the Premier League. Obviously, Newcastle, latest team on the block with money. Streets are saying you might jump ship. Is that true?
Hey, the colours are already there, loaded.
Black and white. No, I'm joking. But nah, man. Obviously, I just wanted to get your thoughts on the takeover and like, if you were a manager, and you had that limitless amount of funds, realistically, who would be the first 3 players you would buy and why?
That's a good question.
I think I'll probably go for someone possibly like a Coutinho. For me,
You'd buy Coutinho.
yeah.
No, he's talking about 4.
No, it is for Newcastle. I'm saying.
He said if you're the manager of Newcastle, would you go and get Coutinho?
Oh, is that what? Oh,
That's what he said.
That's what I'm wondering. Like, yo,
he's not talking about like
realistic. You got limit. No, be realistic. Actually, do you know what? What do you want?
That's what I'm saying. Okay, cool.
It's also realistic.
Let me give you my argument. Though. My argument is because, cool. For example, when we look at the takeover that my team had, the progression was very gradual. So what happened is, cool. Well, I think our first correct me if I'm wrong, but Robinho was the one that stood up to most people as to say, okay.
Yeah, he was the marquee, but there was like a lot of there was from Waynebridge to like Santa Cruz.
Yeah. So why I say Coutinho is more so because there's a guy that everyone acknowledges that at some point was a world class talent and still has some ability to give.
Oh, okay.
Do you get what I'm saying? So
you parallel it to the
you want to build up because you have to.
Yeah.
So you have to get in marquee signings in it. People that are
you want to make a splash.
World. Exactly, because cool. You have all this money, but at the end of the day, people have to believe in a project. And essentially what Man City done was they gave other players a reason to believe in a project. You bring in a Robinho, you bring in a Aguero, you bring in a David Silva, players that have ability, so you can kind of see the direction they're going towards.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you get managers that know what they're doing.
Yeah.
You're not going to come and try and sign Mbappe and my man's the manager. Like, it doesn't make sense. That's what I'm saying, that it has to be gradual. It doesn't necessarily have to be a Coutinho per se.
Yeah.
But I'm saying that...
No, so give us players. Give us players.
Yeah, the way you rationalise it makes sense.
Give us the players then. Coutinho number 1.
I would say... Try and lure in... What's this guy's name, bruv? Centre back. Koulibaly. Someone like that. A big marquee signing. Do you know what I mean? Someone that,
same impact, just to let people know we're here now and we're in the market.
I understand. I possibly go for Lautaro Martinez, a young player, coming into the league, exciting, can match with St. Maximan. Do you know what I mean? Just big marquee signings to then attract further interest. But you say that team is gonna get Europe in the first year, but it's a long-term process, and you have the funds to do it. And and as well as that, they have more funds to get it wrong. Do you get what I'm saying?
For sure.
So it's like, yeah. And
why I disagree with you is because that's what City did, and I think City did it wrong.
You think
and I also think it was a different. The circumstances were different. You could get a Sergio Aguero for 32 mil. That player is 150 mil in today's market. Lautaro Martinez is potentially about to sign an extension. You're basically could have spent 300 mil on 3 players, and in 3 years you're gonna have to build a new team. Do you know what I mean? So,
but then they have the funds to get it wrong. That's my point.
But I don't think that should be a reason why you're saying let's just throw stuff at the wall and see what sticks.
It's not necessarily thrown at the wall, but it's trial and error. And like you have to start the journey somewhere. Like it's very rare for a team to, for example, like even City, we didn't get it right from the get go. You've gone.
But there's different ways to start a journey.
Exactly, there's different ways.
So what are you saying? Then?
I would go the youth route. I'm getting some of the hardest youngsters in the world right now. Obviously, it's tough because that's what, as I was saying to Adam, that's what nearly every club is doing right now. Arsenal are trying to do that. Spurs have been trying to do that. But when you've got money, you've got new ownership. You're literally saying to someone, to a youngster, we want you to be the face of the franchise, and the franchise is going to be completely new. It's kind of like when Kawhi went to the Clippers.
Why don't you just reverse engineer it? Why can't you do two things at the same time?
I think you can.
Why can't you build a sturdy first team and as well as that promote good talented youth?
I think you can. I think you can do both, but that's why I brought up the money, because you don't. I don't think it's hard to build on two different timelines. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's across all sports. Do you know what I mean? It's hard to have your have an elite first team and then have an elite group of young players that can just replace them.
That's why I disagree with you in that you have to start with the youth, because at the same time, what does every youth team have to start from? You have to look at the first.
I'm not saying youth team. I'm saying
no, but cool. But the young players, they have to have a stem from which
they're learning from. And that.
Do you know what I'm saying? I think if you don't have a first team which promote a certain style of football or a certain philosophy, then how could like?
But yeah, I think you can get that leadership from elsewhere. You know, from your manager, from whoever is looking at the long-term vision of the club. I think they can let that trickle down and translate into the first team. But in terms of young players, I think they should pursue. I think top of the list, Jude Bellingham. The Jude Bellingham sweepstakes they're coming real soon, because we know Dortmund will be selling him, and it's about the cash at the end of the day. And if you're telling him, we want you to be the face of the club for the next 10 years, I think he'd be down. Do you know what I mean? So go after guys like him, guys like Gravenberch, young players that haven't had their big move yet. Go after those guys and say, we want to be your big move and we want to build the team around you.
Just before you jump in though, do you know why I just don't think that's a wise... Because for me, it's like, when you're starting a project like this, the beginning stages are going to be the toughest. So it's like, even in trying to get Jude, would you even risk the possibility of him not reaching his potential because he's having to do too much too soon? Like, would you rather not get like older talent that have proven themselves to where if it goes wrong and you kind of can realise your mistakes, like it's not that bad?
Yeah.
If you get a guy like Jude Bellingham in, the stakes are so high, bro. You're literally entrusting your whole club and the rebuild that club.
I disagree with that, though. I disagree with that because, as I said, it's about the leadership. Do you know what I mean? I'm not going to ask him to be a leader. The manager that I put in charge...
He has to be a leader, bro.
He doesn't have to be a leader.
He has to be...
Why?
Bro, the money you're going to fork out for Jude Bellingham, bro.
He has to be a leader. No, I disagree. I
think what it is...
I was just going to put one name in. What about Haaland when you're talking about young players that haven't had the big move yet?
Why not?
Absolutely no chance.
The only thing is...
With the release clause coming up, still no chance.
Absolutely no chance.
No chance in terms of... Why you say no chance?
As in, for me, I just think, if we're being realistic, Haaland isn't going to go to Newcastle.
I agree with that.
That's one thing.
I agree with that.
And another thing is, I just think that for Newcastle, you're putting too much on your shoulders, because if you're getting Jude Bellingham and Haaland in, that's instant gratification.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna. Yeah, just
instant gratification.
You're getting Haaland in.
Haaland's 19, 20 years old.
That doesn't matter. The guy's a certified bagman. He's the one of the best players in the world.
Wait, what are you saying in terms?
I'm saying that whether you succeed in the short term or the long term, you're giving yourself a good chance at both. Your way. It's the present, not about the future. Do you get what I'm saying?
No.
You said you want established players, right?
Yeah.
And I'm saying that's gonna sort you out for the present. My method, I'm looking out for the present and the future.
No, but my point is that you're not fortune tellers, and with the stocks that you're putting into your future, if it goes wrong, it can last for everything.
I think Look, just where I stand is it's a combination of both, innit? Like, I personally think you go for established players in terms of not established like marquee signs. I'm not even talking about, it's not even about primes. You can go for a couple of them, bro. I just think Newcastle as a club need to achieve some sort of stability first. So they've been battling relegation ever since they've got promoted, and then maybe the last 7 games of the season they'll go on a nice little run with some player doing something special for them, and then they manage to steer their way to safety. But the whole season, they're literally battling and fighting relegation.
For sure.
Establish yourself in the Premier League as one of the mid-table Premier League sides, so the guys that finish just below, outside the Europa League places, and you have something to build and work off from. Bro, they've got limitless amount of resources. I think one thing that, even to an extent, both of you are forgetting is so many things are going to be running simultaneously. Like, in no time, you will see Newcastle have one of the best academies as well. The way Man City are also producing ballers, and their academy is growing and becoming more prosperous. I think Newcastle can do the same in terms of investing in the youth there, signing talent from all around the world. But then I think establishing yourself, what Man City did expertly well, I think, was
training ground.
Not even away from the training ground and that. Like, the players that they bought, I'm talking about for the first team now.
They got value.
It wasn't, of course, what you said was still relevant in terms of times are different now. But like the Adebayors, the Bellamys, the Sean Wright Phillips, the Milners, when they bought Milner,
my thing with
those guys to just solidify you, because if you get young talent, you don't want to. For example, now, like someone like what Crystal Palace did. I think Crystal Palace, yes, good model in terms of what they're trying to do, but the danger is they're in a situation where they will be flirting with that relegation.
What was the point I made when we had a conversation about Crystal Palace? I said they got rid of all their vets, all of them at the same time, which was wrong. Because I made the same point.
I still think the Newcastle vets.
To learn from.
I still think the Newcastle vets aren't the people to learn from.
I'm not saying that they are.
Because they've been fighting relegation.
I'm not saying they are. I'm just saying, when you're saying 3 players that I can bring in, I'm not going to be spending my piece on 27 and 28.
But I'm saying, but would you put those 3 youth players into this team? So you put Bellingham, Gravenberch.
These aren't the only guys that I'm going to sign. Do you know what I mean? I'm talking about the context of actually rebuilding the club, not just making free signings.
But I'm saying...
But then if anything, your method, like, you're looking to go from 0 to 100. No, but you are, because look at the man that you're thinking of, Bellingham and Haaland. It's like, for me, I'm even thinking, like, let there be a...
I never mentioned Haaland, by the way.
You did mention Haaland.
No, I don't.
Oh, you mentioned... Okay, sorry. But Jude Bellingham, but for me, there has to be a culture change within the club, within the supporters, everyone.
I agree with that.
That comes in through bringing in recognised talent and recognised...
Final points then.
Yeah, my last point. I have a question for you, man. Let's say you've got £100 million. Obviously, okay, you know what? £1 billion in transfer money.
No, but you won't have £1 billion.
Okay, how much you want to say then?
Realistically, you have like 200 mil to spend.
All I want to know from you, man, is what percentage is spent on established players and what percentage is spent on young players.
Well, me personally, I'm spending about 60%, 65% of the budget on established players.
Yeah. I disagree.
Yeah.
I disagree.
And how much? What's your percentage?
I'm spending, especially with the current market.
Bro,
Koulibaly was like 100 mil last year. Now you can get him for like 20, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good deal.
Exactly.
Yeah, but you said 65, 70% of the budget.
Yeah.
You won't need that to get a Koulibaly.
No, I know, but then...
Even better for me then.
But yeah, exactly. Even better. To
So
get more...
more
of them. No, yeah. But then that's why I said this. You're going to be focused on the now, which is fine. But I think you're better.
It isn't just now.
You can do both.
It's not focused on the
now.
It's not just
them
now.
man are young and...
No, but you're combining both that and then the couple of youngsters. Bro, you're
thinking top youngsters for small money in today's market.
That's the point we're trying to make. Isn't that the point you're making? Because you'll be spending your budget on basically, realistically, 3 players, max.
No. Why?
200 mil. If you're buying Jude Bellingham, how much do you think you're going to get Jude Bellingham for?
Yeah, big bread.
How much?
Exactly.
Big bread.
You have 200 million, you want to buy Jude Bellingham, how much do you think?
But that is my star, man.
And then the rest of the team...
Who? How much do you think you're going to get Gravenberch for? 30 mil? Your dreams.
That was just another guy.
But you have to give us something.
No, but I'm saying, okay, who's of it? And Daniel's had a year left on his deal, right?
Yeah. But he counts as an established player.
Yeah, but he's available for a low price. I'm saying I would get my value guys, similar to what City did, on the older guys. Get guys on a free, like a guy like Cavani, when Man United pick him up. Those are the kind of guys I'm getting because you can get them for cheap. My big money, I'm spending on the youngsters. That's the point that I'm making. Do you get what I mean?
I get that.
But I'm saying those are the players that are teetering to the end. I'm trying to get the players that have just gone past their prime.
Cool.
Yeah, but they're not 100.
Cool. Let's leave it there.
It's a good conversation.
What was Thomas Muller going for?
No, let's leave it. Thomas Muller still. Let's leave it. Cool. We're talking about culture shift, change in clubs. Obviously, new owners going to Newcastle. I know you probably would have wanted those owners coming to your club. Just in terms of United, and like obviously a couple of weeks back we had the conversation about Oli, Arteta, and Rodgers, and funny enough, Rodgers and Oli.
Oh yeah, I said Oli. You man disagreed.
Yeah, I don't. To be fair, David Ornstein came out yesterday and said Oli's job is 100% safe. So,
yeah, typical.
Yeah. Well, what's your take on everything that's going on with the club? How much blame do you put on Oli? How much blame do you put on the Glazers? And what's your take on the Ronaldo situation? Because a lot of staunch United fans are saying Ronaldo was never the solution. And if you had the chance now to swap Ronaldo for a DM, would you do it?
Oh, that was like 100 questions if you at me.
Yeah, bro. It's all you now. It's your segment, bro.
I can't touch on all of them. United right now, there's just so much going on. It feels like it's going to take hours to really dissect what's going on at the club. But the Ronaldo thing, I think people are putting their energy in all the wrong places when it comes to Ronaldo. Because let's be honest, our system, whatever you want to call it, our game plan, our approach, it's not good. We don't play good football. So why are we looking at Cristiano Ronaldo, who's there to score goals,
He saved you lot.
and he's not, bro? We would be out of the Champions League right now if it were for Ronaldo. That the goal against Villarreal, he didn't score against Young Boys, but we lost that game. But yeah, I don't understand how. And another one that I'm hearing is Cavani would be a better option up front. I'm like, all this is doing for me is maybe it is true. Like people can pitch that to me, but all that is making Oli look like even more of a dickhead. Because in what world is Cavani a better option than Ronaldo? What kind of style of play is that? Do you think there should ever be a world where that exists? Genuinely, do you think there should be a world that exists where people are saying...
What are they saying though? They're not saying drop Ronaldo, play him off the left.
No.
They're saying Cavani is a better option up top right now than Ronaldo. As I said, if once you break it down, based on where we're at the moment, I might not even disagree. Because Cavani's more pressing, all of that type of shit. Another thing people ignore, we've got 20-year-old Mason Green with 21-year-old or 23-year-old Marcus Rashford. These guys weren't pressing before Ronaldo got here. Suddenly, we don't press because Ronaldo's here. Bro, we had one of the youngest front lines in the league and we still weren't pressing. So how is that on Ronaldo? I think people are putting all their energy...
It's not blaming Ronaldo. Ronaldo's a quality player who was going to score in whatever system he played him in. I think where you can kind of reconstruct what they're saying and where I kind of understand to an extent is Ronaldo wasn't needed. It was a signing made by the Glazers. Like many are saying, no one will ever know the truth, but what everyone's going on is Man City were trying to sign him and Man United came in. Is this your point, or
are you saying that's like the...
No, I'm saying what they're saying. So I'm reconstructing and I'm saying that you didn't... It's not by that much because they're saying that we don't want Ronaldo because we think there are better options. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying you didn't need Ronaldo. Scoring goals wasn't your issue and Ronaldo comes in to do what? Score goals.
Yeah, no, so that's fair.
That's fair. What I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
That we didn't need Ronaldo. I think you could argue that, but then I'd also say, don't tell me we'd be better off without Ronaldo. And even if you want to say that, that is for the most idiotic reason, and it's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Ronaldo is literally one of the greatest goal scorers we've ever seen. How can you be worse off with a guy like that? All that does is expose the manager. Do you know what I mean? That's like saying, I don't know, Call of Duty, you've got better weapons, but you're getting less kills. How does that make sense? Do you know what I mean? I don't understand it.
But then again, sorry, it's you know what? It's devil's advocate, innit? Even exactly with that point, that comes down to style, fit, the person.
And the style is wrong. If you've got better talent and you're getting worse results, then clearly it's the orchestrator. It's got nothing to do with the talent. Are you questioning who Ronaldo is?
I don't think it's about questioning Ronaldo. I'm
just speaking on, I've heard a lot of really bad takes when it comes to Ronaldo. I'm just saying that this is all in response to that, innit? That this idea that, Ronaldo's the problem, we'd be better off with Cavani. The energy's going in all the wrong places, man. Listen, Cristiano Ronaldo is a proven winner.
I think for me, the difference between last season and this season, you lot haven't changed much, man. Yeah, you got a Rafael Varane in.
That's the point.
And you've brought in a Sancho that hasn't done anything for you. So when you really look at it like that, nothing much has changed.
And that's bro. You bring in Sancho, Ronaldo, Varane. Things need to change.
And when you look at United games on a game by game basis, I can probably find 3 games where Ronaldo saved you lot. Like, you lot should be lower than where you are now.
100%.
If it's not because of Ronaldo.
And we'd have 1 point in the Champions League right now for
Ronaldo. And what you guys brought in Ronaldo for, I believe it's a panic buy as well, but what you guys brought Ronaldo in for is the leadership and the goals. That's literally it. He's not there to change your system. That's not what he's there.
That's the manager's job.
Exactly. So for me, the blame can't be on Ronaldo, man. I think he saved you out of many chizzes already this season.
And another thing, leadership, great point, because people were lauding Cavani. I don't know why Cavani suddenly become Cavani had a good couple months, and people acting as if Cavani's some prime Suarez or something. He's a good striker, but he was sitting on the bench for PSG for like 2 seasons before he came to us. He came as a free agent. He ain't like some, world beater or something. He's a good striker, and he was good for us last season. But leadership, Cavani, Ronaldo brings much more leadership than Cavani. Cavani played a... How much credit was Cavani getting for guiding Mason Greenwood, doing all that sort of leadership stuff, the intangibles? You don't think Ronaldo's bringing that times 10?
Oh, yeah.
Answer the question. Answer the question.
Hey, Dummy wants to shoot me. Bro, it's not me. It's not me. I know, I'm joking.
You're the voice of the Ronaldo people, right? Or the Ronaldo.
I said the voice, bro. I just...
You said you're doing devil's advocate, right? Yeah, so you get the backlash. You get the backlash.
Nah, I'm crying. No, look, at the end of the day, I think, yes, of course, I'll stand by the fact that you won't be better off without Ronaldo per se.
What's the question I just asked? I want you to answer that.
Would Ronaldo offer him more? I think
in the intangibles and leadership compared to
not times 10, but I think Ronaldo, of course, is bringing
not even times 10, times 100.
Yeah, I think that's a stretch. I think there's other things to focus on as well. I do think when you look at level of performance, Shaw was performing at an all-time level last year. He's really dropped off his standards this year. Maguire,
that's a lot of England players.
It's nothing to do with Ronaldo.
Aaron Wan-Bissaka didn't go to the Euros, and he's looked a lot worse, and I wouldn't put it solely down to coaching.
No, he hasn't looked a lot worse. Aaron Wan-Bissaka's always had his
no, but he looked a lot better last season. At least he even had those where he'd save you a lot of times in the 1v1.
No, fair.
He hasn't really shown those outstanding moments.
I think he's just consistently noticing he's so bad on the ball. So now it's like it's building and building the frustration.
You said Pogba was going to break the assist record. He hasn't got an assist since those 7 that he's put up. He
was running on the Ronaldo high as
well. Sancho, 10 games, 0 goals, 0 assists. These things, I'm not even trying to poo on these guys, but I'm just saying levels of performance. Maybe you can say they're down tooling for the manager. We don't know, possibly.
And my thing is, I'm not even one to put it all on Oli. I like to talk about the whole story. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, you have to hold these players accountable as well. But let's be honest. United play shit ball. How do you expect players to play well when the team is not functioning well?
Nah, cool. We'll leave it there, innit?
This is...
Last...
I've got a lot more to say.
Nah, I know you do, bro.
We'll get there.
Last segment, then. Segment we always talk about. Buy, sell, cut...
Start, bench, sell.
Start, swap,
Start, bench, sell.
Where's the clown hat?
Start, bench, sell. Very quickly, who are the players?
Alright, bro. Well, criteria for this week, we've been talking quite a lot about longevity with players, particularly with Salah little seven.
Yeah.
So with this one, target number 9s, Karim Benzema, Robert Lewandowski, Luis Suarez throughout their careers.
Yeah. Cool. All I need you to do, all I need you to do is say the 3, and then we'll do the discussion after. Say the 3. Just say the 3 quickly. Say the 3.
Start, bench, sell.
Start, bench, sell.
I'm starting Suarez. I'm benching Benzema. I'm selling Lewa. That's what I'm doing.
Quickly.
Yeah.
Quickly.
I'm starting Robert Lewandowski.
Yeah.
I'm benching Luis Suarez, and I'm cutting Karim Benzema.
And I'm starting throughout their careers. Boy, that is tough. I'm starting Suarez. I'm benching.
You know what side you want to go?
No. Do you know what it is? Do you know what it is? I'm benching Benzema and I'm selling Lewandowski.
But no, my reason for that is Suarez. He showed it at everywhere he's gone, man. Started off in the Netherlands. Showed it there. Came to the Prem. We saw what he done in the Prem. Went to the league. Has been a bad boy, man. I think Suarez. I think Barcelona made a huge mistake in letting him go. For me, Benzema comes sitting on the bench because the guy's career has just been an absolute joke. When you look at the trophies he's won, it's been a joke. And it's not even that Ronaldo has come and Ronaldo's the reason why he's got those trophies. He was a bad boy before Ronaldo came. He was a
Leo.
bad boy while Ronaldo was there. And even now that Ronaldo's left, he's still a bad boy. Do you get what I mean? He was able to put up prolific numbers in Ronaldo's era as well. And yeah, I think he's a striker that, between the three of them, he's the most, how would I put it?
Versatile.
Most versatile. Do you get what I mean? For me, Lewandowski goes because he hasn't had the same career as these guys. He stayed in Germany where it's all been pretty much... He's been quite safe.
And Benzema's done it in 2 spots.
Wait, hold on. Yeah, but my point is that Lewandowski stayed in Germany, and he stayed as the main man in Germany, really and truly. Innit? There hasn't been another striker that's come into the Bundesliga until Haaland that's really giving him a run for his money.
Aubameyang did for a little bit. Aubameyang did for a
Yeah,
little
cool,
bit.
fair enough. Benzema was sitting there when Messi's been there, when Suarez was there, when David Villa was there. Suarez has been there when Aguero was there.
Oh, Benzema kicked Higuain out of the club.
Do you know what I'm saying? Suarez now came to the Prem when Aguero was there, when Harry Kane was there. Like, them man have been battling with the big dogs for time, and it was Lewandowski was sitting on his high horse.
Well, let's not forget the Champions League does exist. You know, these guys do compete.
Look at what
against
Benzema's
each
done in
other.
the Champions League.
I'm not saying these guys haven't performed in the Champions League, but I'm saying you're comparing them to just the domestic leagues.
Yeah, but
They
look
all
what
play in
Benzema's done in the Champions
same
League. Look what
competition.
Suarez done in the Champions
I'm
League.
not saying they haven't performed. I'm just saying the whole comparing them to the guys in their
Benzema
league.
performed better in Champions League than Lewandowski ever has. Ever.
I need
Ever.
to, you know, do
He's
some
Real Madrid-
massaging into that.
I like
but-
he's Real Madrid's no, that's not.
You
He's Real
know
Madrid's
what?
top scorer in the
Check
Champions League.
Lewandowski's Champions League record.
Yeah, yo.
Check
The
Lewandowski's
COVID
Champions
year. If
League
not,
record.
if there were second legs, Lewandowski would have blitzed
What?
the goal scorer
record?
record. Yeah.
You know what? Let me just
Lewandowski's
quickly.
getting sold.
Yeah, say yours.
I understand the reasoning, but it's all preference, isn't it? My thing is Lewandowski is as deadly as it gets in the history of football. If you're talking about a striker, scratch that, man. He's a I don't take racist.
When man does that, it's not you know.
Start for me.
With the band. Oh, come man.
Who started it? Both of you.
Yeah, I started Suarez.
When I started racism, like anyway.
Oh,
Lewandowski for me, driller. As I said, I understand you, man. You want a bit more from your striker. Do you know what I mean? That's why you're going with the Suarez, the Benzemas. I don't give a shit. I've got 10 other players, 9 other outfield players to give me that. Lewandowski is guaranteed goals. 40 goals for 5 straight seasons. Should have had multiple Ballon d'Ors already. The idea that he's only done it in one look, that's the same argument people use against Messi. Do you know what I mean? But no.
Lewandowski couldn't play with Ronaldo, bro, and be successful.
Why does that matter?
Because Benzema can. Suarez, I believe, can.
That is only valuable
These two
to a
players are
certain
the
level.
goats.
Yeah, but that's why you surround Lewandowski with Robins, Ribery's. Just because you can't play alongside certain type of players doesn't make you less of a player.
Bro, for me,
You think Ronaldo would thrive alongside Lewandowski?
Ronaldo still would, yeah.
No. Ronaldo right now would thrive alongside
Not
Lewandowski.
Ronaldo right now.
Yeah, but Ronaldo's still one of the best players in the world, and he's not. He would have thrived next to Lewandowski.
He'll fire into a Suarez.
I don't know, but that's TBC. But listen, I said I was benching Suarez, cutting Benzema. I think Benzema, I love Benzema, baller. Suarez, you already know what Suarez is about, but I can't lie, you man, I disrespected Leon.
Yeah, look, bro, like, I fully hear what everyone's saying, but you know I'm leaning towards Josh's side of things because, like, fam, I think, let me disclaimer, Lewandowski's the best goal scorer out of all of them. But I think when it comes to segments like this, like, it's just a bit of fun. I think it's a chance to put your preference as well. And as football players, I prefer Suarez and Benzema. I think, especially for the player that I was, like, I just think the level. No, relax.
That's the second time he referenced at this episode.
Bro.
But I said, as a footballer, you know.
I haven't done that this episode.
You did.
Wait, in which one?
Earlier segment, you're like, as a footballer, you know, I want to.
I think it was a couple episodes back. It wasn't
it
this.
was literally this.
It wasn't.
It was literally this.
Chill.
But listen, enjoy them.
But yeah,
reminisce.
I think what I was gonna say is I wasn't gonna say I was Benzema. I wasn't gonna say I was Benzema. Sorry. Level of sacrifice. That's what I was talking about. Giving other players the plaudits. I think one thing you definitely have to recognize as a footballer is when you're able to make such levels of sacrifice for other players to succeed, but you can also still work and still perform. I think Benzema and Suarez are 2 examples of players that have had to do that in their careers, but still performed at the highest level. I'm not disrespecting Lewandowski. It's not taking anything away from Lewandowski, but I just think that it's just something that I prefer and I like and I've seen. And the fact that now Suarez been able to cook away from Messi, Benzema been able to cook away from Ronaldo, it just goes to show how great they are as players.
What do you think about the level of competition of the three, what they've had to face in their careers?
I don't really like to put tax on the leagues, innit? Because you can make the argument. I mean, you're not going to include Benzema's Lyon career as why he's one of the greatest. Obviously, that's what put him in the spotlight, but I wouldn't put that as why exactly. Spain has been the bulk of his career. Do you know what I'm saying? So,
but even then, though, would you regard Spain as more competitive than Germany?
Not right now. Obviously not.
No, even still right now. Even still right now, definitely. We just saw Bayer Leverkusen, who are one of the favourites for the league, get slapped. I think, what was it, 5-0 today by Bayern Munich?
Yeah, so Bayern Munich are pass.
No, but it's the point about competition. I think competition is stronger in Spain than in Germany. Fair. But yeah, man, that's been another episode of Free Up Top. I think it was a good episode.
You think you got enough of your expensive playing out?
Yeah.
That wasn't even that creative. Like,
do you know what?
No, but you know what we did? We went full circle, brought it back to the double and triple on time.
This whole episode talking about giving flowers. This guy doesn't give you flowers.
I don't give you your flowers.
No, you haven't, man.
I don't give you your flowers.
No,
say that one more time.
Yeah?
Thank you.
Give me my flowers, man.
All my flowers. No, but fam, you know, PEE. People forget the L, the link. You got to link it back. Peel. You got to link it back to the original point.
There's peer as well, innit? Some people said the R, reflection. You reflect it. Do you agree?
No, I agree, but Peel.
Yeah, you didn't want to agree, and you want to talk about not giving flowers. What a waste, man. What a waste, man. Hey, it's been your boy Dan the man with the plan.
Come on. Down the blood cut can.
Finally.
Hey, I gotta have a little vim.
Yeah? It's your boy JK, the King Green, and I'll stay out of the mix, man.
Free Up Top. We out.